Should we be trusting Qatar in this role it's playing? Mike Pompeo joins us right now, a former U.S. Secretary of State himself. Secretary, always great seeing you. What do you think of this growing concern, Qatar, and the role it's playing here? And it's kind of like a dual role.
Well, Neil, it's great to be with you. I think we should take a step back. I heard Governor Burgum speak of the money that was provided to Gaza by Qatar. It was done at the full direction with the full support of the United States of America. So we should be a little careful about blaming them for having done that. That was the model that had been adopted by the Biden administration. You can appease. You can give money to Hamas. You can give money to UNRWA. You can fund the Palestinians in the West Bank. You can give billions of dollars to the Iranians, and they'll just behave like normal human beings. And of course, we now know that to be false. So we've put all of the Gulf Arab states in an incredibly difficult position because the Biden administration's approach was to put Iran first. We negotiated with the Iranians on the nuclear deal. We stopped enforcing sanctions. We paid a ransom of $6 billion to get back half a dozen hostages, and now the Iranians hold even more. And so I think first we need to make sure we get it right here in America before we go accuse our partners, our friends, and allies of not doing things that can protect Americans. We need to first protect our own.
Now, obviously, Qatar does house and help call home a lot of these Hamas billionaires and operatives. One or two of them might have snuck right back into Egypt and potentially into Qatar itself. So I do wonder now where this goes, because obviously Israel wants all Hamas elements out, certainly of the Gaza. Then the question becomes, Secretary, who in its place?
Neil, that's the right question. I'm confident that there's lots of people thinking about this today. What does this look like after Israel is successful at doing precisely what Prime Minister Netanyahu has described? This is deeply necessary. To watch the American leadership talk about pauses and ceasefires and things that will hinder the destruction of Hamas, it's really bad for the Palestinian people living in Gaza to hear those words. That is dangerous for them to think Hamas might continue to rule in this incredibly difficult place. They've destroyed their lives over the last decade and a half. There's no reason to think they wouldn't do so again. What this looks like afterwards is that if you actually eliminate Hamas, jot and tittle, all the infrastructure that is sitting inside of Gaza, all the political intelligence infrastructure, that's good. You can create a structure. There can be a civil set of leaders there. But, Neil, let's not look past what the reality is. The address for this problem isn't Hezbollah in Lebanon. It's not the Houthis in Yemen. It's not the knuckleheads in Gaza that committed the most barbaric acts we have seen in our lifetimes. No, the problem is the Ayatollah in Iran. And to the extent there is no cost imposed on Iran, we will be fighting on multiple fronts against Iran for decades to come. And I don't hear the administration talk about that in a remotely serious way. And while we've been sitting here, while this interview's been going on, hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue from oil sales from Iran have gone into the coffers of the very actor that provided the resources that killed Americans and killed 1,400 Israelis.
Secretary, our response to these attacks on American soldiers, 28 over the last couple of weeks, is to attack some of these proxies, usually in Syria. I don't know what they bomb, but they go after those, but never Iran itself. Should we be looking at Iran itself?
Yes.
What's the implication of that?
I mean, yeah. Look, when we say go after Iran, first thing you have to do is you have to speak about it. And you remember, Neil, when this all kicks off, the administration was at great pains to say, we see no direct evidence that Iran is involved. That's just silly. Everyone knows Iran is involved in this. We know that the Iranian leaders met with them in Beirut. The IRGC, the external terror forces of the Iranians, are deeply connected to what Hamas is doing each and every day. They're funding it, they're directing it, they're training it. And so what does it mean? We demonstrated what that looked like in the Trump administration. They were firing artillery into the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Qasem Soleimani was plotting to kill Americans again, another several hundred Americans, and we took him off the map. And everyone said, Nancy Pelosi screamed at me about this. She said, you created the conditions for World War III. When in fact what we did was we reinstalled American deterrence. We were serious. We drew a red line. We told them, if you do X, we're going to do Y. They did X and we did Y. I hope this administration can get serious with the Iranians, saying that if you all continue this path, we're going to begin to impose cost. I'm happy to do it clandestinely. There are so many tools in the American arsenal. But this would be the right thing. And we should remember, not just the right thing for America, it is certainly that, but it's the right thing for Palestinians living in the West Bank. It's absolutely the right thing for Israelis, and it is an imperative for the Gulf states, for the Gulf Arab states, who are trying to move towards modernity, many of whom signed peace agreements with Israel during our watch. It's imperative for them that Iran be countered and that Hamas be destroyed. It's not just about America. We should get it right for our own people, but this matters to the region as well.
As the guy who used to run the State Department, what do you make then, Secretary, of U.S. citizens told to flee Lebanon now due to this unpredictable security situation, no doubt referring to Hezbollah and its influence there and its attacks on Israel over the course of this war?
I don't know the details of what they're seeing in the intelligence today, but Neil, it's probably the case that Americans should get out of there. There's probably significant risk that this will continue to expand. I hope that if it expands, I hope that if Hezbollah actually launches serious attacks against Israel, not that even artillery rounds being fired as we speak aren't serious, but if this continues to grow, I hope Israel will be given the space to do what it needs to do, that is to take down Hezbollah as well. And only the United States can lead the counter charge to prevent Iran from becoming directly involved with us. We can do it with the Russians. We can do it through lots of our allies and friends. We can convince them, don't get in this game. Israel's going to exist. It is the rightful homeland of the Jewish people. They didn't start this. They didn't ask for this, but they're going to finish it. And if we get that wrong, Neil, the risk of continued expansion of this conflict throughout the region and indeed across the world is deeply real.
Secretary, thank you very much and for your service to this country. Going all the way back to your days at West Point, Mike Pompeo, the former U.S. Secretary of State.
Thank you, Neil. Bless you. Have a good Saturday.
The same to you.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.